Hello, friends. My name is Matt, and welcome to the Joy of Nerding. Today, we're going to be doing something which I very much like to do, but I'm not very good at making maps. I've tried several softwares over the years with mixed results, but this time we're going to use a new piece of software that just came out. This is the playtest version of it, and by being a backer on Kickstarter at a certain level, you can get access to this playtest version. It's called Master of Realms, and it predominantly operates for hex maps, although there is a grid mode, which we will not be using today. One of its unique features is that as long as you stick with predefined tile sets, you can export these as STLs for 3D printing, which is really an interesting feature. I don't know how useful it is, but I did buy at that level as well because I figured I'd at least give it a shot. Primarily, however, our target is going to be paper and virtual tabletop maps, because we're doing two different types of maps for two different use cases. And I'll show you that in a minute. Both of these, however, are for Forgotten Ruin in the Forgotten Ruin world, which is primarily fantasy based, so it works well with the tile sets currently available for this software. They plan to add other tile sets in the future, but of course, a lot of that is going to come down to what market traction the game actually gets. And I hope it succeeds because I think more software out there to help people do interesting and useful things is always better in the world. Without further ado, let's flip over and start making some maps. All right, friends, so now we have the home screen here. This is just a starting screen where they ask you to create a map. I want to disclose a couple of things first before we get too far into it. This is the playtest version. I believe I said that already. And so any bugs that you see, I'm sure are going to be ironed out. This is a very early pre-release version. It is not complete. Also, I am running this under Proton on Linux. So this is the Windows build that I'm running via Windows interpolation. It's based on Wine. Wine means Wine is not an emulator, so I don't want to call it an emulator, but interpolation we'll go with. So we're going to start and create a map. And I want a print map that I can print in US letter. Because the first thing we're going to be doing is Forgotten Ruin miniatures game, and I'm going to be having essentially two forces, an American force and a German force from World War II, moving around the map independently of each other. So I'm going to create a US letter sized 1. I'm going to be able to therefore print it out and mark it up. I click create, and so now we have our US letter map. Now zooming in and out now works. It didn't before, which is interesting. And there's, oh, that's interesting. You can add or subtract. This is new. I played with this in the slightly previous version. So anyway, you can rotate it as one would expect. You can zoom in and out. That's good. These are various orthographic views. So a nice top down or this way or that way. Good stuff. Okay. So we are going to need to open the rules for Forgotten Ruin, the miniatures game. Not that you're going to be able to see this. And I have a die because it's random terrain generation, at least in as much as it makes sense to do so. If we get some really, really odd die roll results next to each other, we're going to reserve the right to redo that. So now that I've got those rules open, we're going to spin this to be more vertical. And the reason is because I want two of these here to be adjacent. So we're going to open up our toolbox, and they've got city, forest, path, river. Yeah, this is the type of ground: green ground, city ground, man-made, They've added a few things. All right. So how about a farm? So the farm is going to be our French farmhouse. Okay. Well, we'll use the farm for one and a camp for another. Now it's a small farm. So let's see. This is the smallest farm tile. So let's put that there. So now we've got our, that spins it. Oh, that's interesting. How can I, if I close the toolbox, can I zoom in? I'm trying to get back to where I was able to zoom in and out. And I can't seem to do that. I was able to do that when it was brand new, but I can't unclick. It'd be nice. Oh, that. Okay, so WASD moves around. I wonder if there's a force scrolly key. Okay, so you can middle click and drag around, but the scrolly wheel does not work once you've put something there, which is kind of limiting. There's a view box. Oh, that's another thing. There's a view box that allows you to do navigation things, which is cool. I know my head is half obscuring it, but there's presets that allow you to divide things into regions, labels, map grids, size, colors, transparency, weather. You can make it rainy or foggy or snowy or any of those things. I wonder if I could actually draw fog, because I'm going to need that for the other one. Anyway, so undo, redo, selection tool, eyedropper. These are all great, but how do I not select them? Because it seems that I can move this, I can rotate it, I can label it. Wait, I can label it? I can label it. So we're going to call this French farm cat. Save. I don't know what that did. Hide labels. I can't actually see the label yet. All right. Well, it's not clear to me how that regioning works. I thought it would just produce a floating text box on the map, which it does not appear to. I can clear the selection. Have to deal with that later. All right. Anyway, so we've got our French farm. And I can't see it well enough to see if I want to rotate it. Closing the toolbox doesn't fix it. Oh, characters. That's cool. Objects. Those are cool. You can add additional objects to things, which I like. Oh, city house. So we could put down a plain old grassland there and then add stuff to it. That's definitely neat. I could probably redo the mini that I'm going to actually print and probably get pretty close to it. Settings, controls. Is there a zoom? Camera is middle mouse button. Camera rotation is unbound. Cursor wheel down, cursor wheel up. File save. Tool eyedropper. Object zoom is Z. That's object zoom, not full zoom. So at the risk of being silly, all right, so I'm going to say save. Save as. Forgot. I can type. I'm sure there's somebody who, and of course, as soon as I did this, it went full screen, which is not what I want to do because I can't see behind me. There we go. Close that. Now, if I exit back to the home page, and then I load this again, Can I zoom in and out now? No, I can't. So I can zoom in and out when it's an empty grid using my scroll wheel, but I can't zoom in and out otherwise. Somewhere, like I said, there is one of the designers is sitting here screaming at the screen. All you need to do is whatever, but hopefully they'll see it. All right, so we've got this farm and they attack across the farm and stuff happens. Now, see, this moves it left, right. Why can I not zoom in? So I can't figure out how to zoom in. I'm going to assume that if we're going to the tiles farm, there was this one. I'm going to spin it around so that the farmhouse is in front. That wasn't what I wanted to do. Is it the eyedropper tool? No. Is it the selection tool? Selection tool. Here we go. Rotate. Go this way. Oh, that's right. You used to, I swear I was able to rotate it using the mouse button, but yet I can't. Uniform rotation. Okay. So it says that it's in uniform rotation, but I can't actually rotate it. And then that puts it down. How do I uniformly rotate it? Oh, there we go. When it's selected for rotation, then I can middle mouse button it. So I think that puts the house here-ish. And now I want a forest or a grassland. Oh, with a path. That'd work. A country path and a forested path. So the idea is, oh, there's a bunch of these too. So what if they attack out of the forest? The attacking force moved out of the forest, and that's going to be our first fight. We'll go with a forest path, and they attack out of the forest to the farm. So maybe this one? You can spin it. I think that puts the path in a reasonable way. And so that's where the Americans are going to start. Now, this is where we get into the grid. I want to populate this surrounding map area of what is there. So first roll is number 9, and that is plains. So plains is going to be here. I'm going to kind of go around in this direction starting here. So we need river, city, forest, ground. We'll go with green ground. We'll call that green ground. So this one, I will just plunk it right there. It doesn't be the same thing. And I got an 8. Oh, wait a minute. This is wrong. I pulled out a D20. I need a D100. Silly me. So yes, the results were always going to be mostly plains. All right. First one, 87 is underground. Okay. So what do we have that signifies that this was underground? Maybe ruins? And the idea is that they can go underneath. Yeah, man-made ruins. You've got what looks like an entrance to an underground. This looks like it could be an entrance to an underground. So we'll do that. Oh, and there's a site and a building. All kinds of stuff. Look at that. But yeah, we'll go with, that's interesting. Why is swamp under man-made? That seems odd. But there's boulder valleys. That wouldn't be man-made. A little bit of organization difference here, I think. Lots of forest path options. Anyway, I'm digging around. Next thing. 62 is ruins. Okay. So that would be man-made. We'll use some different ruins for that. Maybe this one. Okay. And next. 0, which is either 0 or 100. Jungle, 100. Coastal, river, path, forest. So they've got a mixed forest, a conifer forest, and a colored forest. I don't see much in the way of jungle. I'm just looking at the coastal tile, see if maybe there's something like that there, but it doesn't look like just plain old normal water. Great. And a mountain. Mountains are cool, but not what we're looking for. So what? Since we don't have a jungle, maybe we'll re-roll it or just what? Well, what's a jungle if not a forest? So we'll just treat that as we'll use the mixed forest, and we'll have it be very dense. Okay, so there's the mixed forest, and same thing again. 89. 89 is underground again. So we're going to grab this same one and make there be another underground bit there. And 20 is another forest, but this is a regular forest. So we're going to go back up and we're going to choose forest conifer, and I'll put the forest here. Or actually, that's adjacent to a road tile. What if I were to do a forest path through it? Oh, and that's interesting. I'm looking at the country path. There's little houses on the country path. So let's replace our farmland with a country path. I'm going to need to spin that, I think, so that it matches up. But that would be maybe a little better. We'll do this. We'll put this. We'll put it in. Doot. That should drop it. Yeah, look at that. There's a nice path there. Now, there's also, if you go down here, path coming down there. So let's go to the forest path. It'll go from a country path to a forest path. And we're going to drop one of those in here. And I need to give that a spin because it's not in the right spot. That looks right. Now that's connecting up. Okay, so we got a forest path there. 97 gets us Arctic. Oh no, 97 gets us jungle again. Well, we're going to be treating the jungle as a multicolored. We're going to use the multicolored forest again. Boom. And 62, which is ruins again. So I'm going to grab different ruins. Maybe this one that looks like a broken down village thing there. And you know what? I think I'm going to replace this one with a smaller one there. So now these two circular thing ruins are our underground cave passage things. Actually, let's do that. Maybe we should make those an entrance to a cave. There's the boulder valleys. Don't see anything that's an entrance to a cave, but we can kind of just play pretend. Let's do that. We're going to use this tile to replace our cave entrances. So now we've got in our lore, there's been the big quantum displacement bubble, and the Germans who are here and the Americans who are here, because they're going to end up fighting basically at the meeting point of these hexes. They've retreated into these hexes. And so the Americans are going to go to one of these three. I haven't decided. And that will expand out what we know and also determine what the second fight will be. The Germans are going to go in a random direction. So they could go any one of these. And that's why I'm having the Americans go purposely this way so that they don't accidentally run into the Germans, because that would be kind of boring to do that twice in a row. Let's see if we can figure out the labels. So where was that? Selection, clicky, duplicate, clear, delete, label, and move. Okay, so label system. I said French farm, add, and I don't know, what's a good French color? What if we make it blue? French farm, save. Oh, there we go. Great. Okay. That's kind of what I wanted to do. It's an odd setup here. So this shows hide. This edits. Um, you can change the color. Great. Oh, I see. There it puts a circle around it. Well, if this is going to be, we could actually use this as a tracker. That's an interesting idea. We're gonna, since the Germans start here, I'm gonna edit this, and we're gonna make this gray kind of gray blue. Maybe this gray blue with that. Yeah. And then I don't know that I want to actually say French farm. Oh, actually, that's an interesting idea. I could say ruins, ruins. We could put different things. I don't think we're using it in the way that it's designed to be used. I think it's fair to say that. Yeah. It's open regions menu. Yeah. But anyway, we could add another one. Add. Oh, that wasn't what I wanted to do. I want to do. Oh, that's a search. Add new region. I bet you can't put two regions in the same thing. If I click this, so it's missing when I try and put the Americans here. It's missing that click, but I can do it over there. All right. So what if I delete this? I may have to do it in the other order. So label system, add new region, remove selected area from regions. Okay. I think I see where they were going with this. I want to add a new one, and I want to say Americans. I'm going to make that green. Boom. Save. And now I want to go here. I want to do this. And I don't know. I guess that's, oh, that's the search. That's why it's not working. Okay. I didn't see the search in the box. That's on me. I'm dumb. So I can do this, and then I can say Germans, and then I can make them this blue gray and hit save. All right. So that's where the Americans and the Germans are. Okay, great. Now I can open the region menu, and then you can do this. Oh, and you could actually capture territory this way. I could do this, and I could say here, oops, click this, then click add selected area to region. And now you've got both of these are the Americans and the Germans. All right, that's an interesting idea. We're not going to do that though. I think using them to track the movement is dumb and not what was intended. But I'm going to do this, add French farm. I know this is me going back to what I was doing. So that has red roofs. So we're going to make that color that for French farm. And then this is, these were the two that were underground, right? So I'm going to add this, and I'm going to use this kind of gray underground access. Oh, and then I can go here, click this, because the French farm label is in the way. Fail. Oh, wait, I can do this and cheat, can't I? Yep, I can spin it. Now I want to add this to underground access. No, I clicked the wrong thing. I want to label system, underground access, click the plus. It does not. That's interesting. They're non-contiguous. So I'm betting it does not want to add that area to the region because it's non-adjacent. So then we're going to add another one. We're going to try and just create another underground access that is exactly the same as the first underground access. Same color, same everything. All right, so that is our basic map that is for our 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper. I'm going to save it. And that is not the most interesting bit. I want to create a new map, which it looks like I need to exit to home page. So we've got our miniatures map that we made here. Create new map. Forgotten Ruin RPG map. All right, now it's digital. which means this could be quite large. So here's the backgrounder on this game. The players do not know where they are. They took off from Area 51. They flew through the QST gate, Quantum Space Tachyon Gate. It's a time portal, right? And they end up in a completely different place where they have no idea where they are. I know where they are because everything there is based on a modern place that is now some 1,000 years in the future. They don't know how many 1,000 years in the future either, and I'm not going to ruin it. Put my dice away though. So I'm not going to ruin the surprise. What I am going to do is start to lay out the map, which to an extent they would have seen. They've got a couple of different things going for them. One, they flew in on an airplane and they landed on a sandy beach. And so they know they have a sandy beach. And the sandy beach has water to the north. And so they're going to head south. And when I say water to the north, I mean an ocean, big ocean. You cannot see land. You can just see land going to the east and west of you. So we're going to do that. And then there's going to be other features that we're going to put out there. And I think I'm going to go with, so I'm never going to print it. It's only going to be a VTT map. And I can pan it around. 50 by 50 seems like a lot, but why not? So this is a bug that I found. You can't just delete everything. It goes to 1. But if you do a 5, you've got to go back to the 1, delete the 5, and then do the 0. Or just be careful enough to not do that. So 50 by 50 is probably enough. 25 by 25 might be enough. Let's split the difference. We'll do 50 by 25. And since most people have a widescreen display, it will look better on the widescreen display because I can arrange it in that way. And if you think about it, it'll be a long, skinny beach. Yeah, so we'll go with that. Create. So we've got a nice, huge map that, again, can't zoom in and out. Now, as I said, they landed on a sandbar with nothing but ocean to the, what did I say, north? Yes, to the north of them. And I think I said beach. I think I said sandbar or whatever. So I need to go into settings because, of course, when I save this, it lost its windowed status. Let me go back to windowed, save, X, great. Now, water, ocean. This, by the way, is where, and I'm using WASD to move around. Now, I like the fact that you can expand out the map at any time. That's very slick. I didn't notice that when I was playing before, and for all I know, it's new. But you can paint this, and it will drop those in. Now, I do not want islands. So one of the things that this has as a claim to fame is it will randomly generate you large swaths of terrain using the individual tile sets if you have auto tiles selected. I don't actually want that. Just empty lake one. All right, so let's keep painting. Oh, apparently I can't draw region selections for individual tiles. Clicky, clicky. So this is the ocean. And I'm going to make the gross assumption that somewhere around here is the center. So now they're going to need some coastal area that they landed on. And we've got a bunch of different coastal bits. And I want, at least for the initial part, I want a few coastal, those are the wrong way around. I want a few coastal things like this. So this is where they landed. I wish it was sandier. We'll call that scrub. I'm looking, seeing if they got anything better. Of course, my plan here is to make these are 15-mile X's. So the fact that has some trees on them, that's fine. They're just for illustrative purposes. We can assume that they put the plane down and didn't crash into anything, right? That makes perfect sense. Now, if they're landed there, they would have some other things that they'd be able to see. Not water, not mountain. It wouldn't be city. There might be a river, but I'm not going to have there be a river there. I could see there being a path going down there. What's the green ground? Yeah, okay. Oh, I kind of like this. Let's scrap this and oh, that won't look right. Never mind. I was gonna say I kind of like this in that we could drop some forest coastal stuff there, but that would look kind of stupid. So let's drop the next line along this beach here. We're gonna just auto have it populate some forested area. So it's conifer forest. So this is how we're gonna play it. I want to add a label here with a C17 landing site. So saying crash site is actually wrong because they didn't crash. They landed and they're now bogged in the sand because their pilot was very good. You land right on the beach. It's a good place to have an improvised landing. And now you got to figure out what you're going to do from there. With each of these being 15-mile X's, that means that you can march across in half a day. So kind of a before lunch, after lunch sort of thing. All right, so that's that. Now, there are going to be 1 day's march away, probably about here. There is going to be man-made camp, farm, Boulder Valley's country ruins. We're going to use this. Well, wait, it was supposed to be nestled in a mountain. Boulder Valley. Yeah, I guess I got to go with ruins. Okay, so there was a here. So full day's march. I'm going to stick it over here. There is a point of interest. Okay, I don't want the dropper tool. I want this one here. I'm going to make a new region, and I'm going to add one. And this is POI B1. Point of interest Bravo 1. And we'll do that be orange. Now, there's a subtlety here that may be apparent to old Dungeons and Dragons players. It's orange and called B1. If you are one of my players, do not go looking for anything with an orange cover that says B1 or brown cover. Orange, brown, kind of looks the same because you'll spoil the adventure. All right, so that's that. Now, there looks like we're probably going to want more coastal stuff. And at this point, it can kind of become more random. So we're going to run this coastal auto tiles. Oh, I think I saw there was a problem with this. Now it's doing that. I remember this. There was an issue where somehow I got into a mode whereby I couldn't select anything when it came to auto tiles coastal, but auto tiles other things worked, like this river. But yet when I selected, or did I select water tiles? I think I selected water tiles. Yeah, water tiles is working. It's coastal tiles that do not work, and I need to have be manually placed, which is no fun. But you can spin it before you place it, which is kind of nice. So let's assume that that dude kind of like his view. That looks weird. Can I do that? That looks less stupid. And we're going to need another coastal fit. That fits better here, maybe. That looks nice. I like that. Okay. And whoever this person is put their mysterious house on top of this hill. And then what can we do? That looks okay here. Yeah, we can do that. And then that would make this would be plain water. There we go. Could actually put an island out there if we wanted to. Back to coastal. Where's the coastal? Ruins. Oh, here it is. I need to kind of loop back around. There's a lot of rivers in there. I don't want to have to draw out a ton of rivers. Although supposedly that's really good. The river logic. Well, maybe that's worth trying. Piece doesn't fit great. Yeah, can do that. Bring it back around. And we'll bring in some rivers that way. Which let's do that. River. So automatic river. Maybe we'll have it wind this way. Boom, 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 boom. And then we'll have this one wind over this way. There we go. And it kind of comes together like that. That's a cool looking river. Like, nice animation on that, guys. Looks real good. All right, now I'm going to want to throw maybe a mountain. Where can I stick a mountain? No, that's not fun. Oh yeah, maybe the river comes out of the mountain. How big of a mountain? Eh, little mountain. Anyway, I'm not sure. I'm not going to put a mountain there yet. So let's do some random forest drawn through here. Looks good. I like that placement. Oh, hey, and now all of a sudden I can zoom in and out. Why couldn't I zoom in and out before? I have no idea. But look at that. Look at how gorgeous this map is. I mean, you can, like I said, you can really zoom in. And now if I go here, yeah, this works. It's an altar, and we'll just assume that, I mean, the model looks like an altar, but we'll just assume that it's really just a map marker. I'm thinking more for the other map. You know what I mean? All right. So anyway, there's that. And I want there to have been a road leading to that. So we'll call it a forest path, at least at first. And the road goes somewhere. So then we got a nice path through the forest. And then it turns into a country path. It kind of winds this way. Maybe we'll stick a mountain there. Where's our mountain? Yeah, there we go. Winds around the mountain. So there's a good reason for that. And then I want to drop in a city. So where was it? Man-made, camp, boulder valley, site and building, swamp. City was a whole separate thing. City filler, city road, city wall. And then there will be a city road. So this country road will say, becomes a city road. Oh, I guess I need a specific. Oh, and that would look stupid. So let's have the road go up to the wall, like so. I can't zoom out because I'm spinning this. Yeah, and now I can't zoom in and out again. I don't know what's going on here. Very odd. Oh, and then once I select this, they need to work a little bit on the selection stuff, I think. But now if I do city wall, I should be able to do something like this. Yeah, that's a weird looking city wall. So let's do this. Circles. Almost good. Almost good. What if we did this? So there's that, and then there's a city filler in the center. Boom. There we go. So this other region here is add. What? Why can I not? I guess I can't make a new one. Now that works. Okay, another one. POIB2. Save. And then we can do this and click this and then add that to that, and it expands it outward. Brilliant. Now, This is going to be, it's on a road, so you can go faster, but you're talking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 hexes. So that would take 4.5 days, which is not a horrible amount of travel. All right, friend. I was actually thinking about this map a bit. First, the reason they find point of interest Bravo 1 is because they pop up a drone. The drones only have a 30-mile range, which means that it would get this ring of hexes here, get this ring of hexes here, because they're 15-mile hexes. So I actually need to move this, clicky this, move. I should be able to put it here. So that's interesting. It doesn't move the point of interest. So we want to take this region, add to this region, and then we can go here. We can click this. Oh, there's nothing. I guess you can't add a tile. You can't remove a tile from a region when there's no tile there. So let's have there be a road. We want to add another road. I draw for the road. Oh, that was a path that ended. Well, we don't want that. We can leave that there. But I want to delete this because I want, it has beginning and ending of paths in that hex, which makes perfect sense, but I do not want both of those there, or I don't want the ending there. I want the end to be this hex. So I need a forest path that curves like this one, and I drop that there. There we go. Wait, it curves the wrong way. Hang on. There we go. So that's great. And there's also another road that goes off this way from there. You know what? Let's do this. Let's forest path. Boom, boom. And I want to have another one. No, I just want to curve. We'll give them a couple of different ways to get there. So that, and then should I use the same one again? Yeah, there we go. So now there's a path. So they've got a road that leads up from the beach here around to here. And they can either walk up the beach this way or they can take the roadway around here, at which point they will find this other road up. So they're going to report that back to their superiors, I assume. Let's remove this from, how do we, all labels from this region will be deleted? Nope, that wasn't what I wanted to do. Undo. There we go. So how do I remove from the region? Remove selected? There it is. There we go. That's what it is. Remove selected. Okay, so now the drone would be able to get to this outer region of hexes. So that was the first thing that I noticed. That was wrong. Second thing I thought about was I am not going to go as nuts with the sizes of the map because these arrows are now here and I don't know if they were here before or if I only now just noticed them or what. But I can shorten this up and make it a little bit more manageable. Because even the small map is going to be keeping my players busy for a reasonable amount of time. And then I don't feel as compelled to build the whole thing. I may even shrink it some. All right, now I'm actually going to pull this in even further. I'm going to drop there. So we don't know where this river goes, and I'm okay with that. And then I don't also need to draw a bunch more coastline. So more coast. I do need to draw some coast. I don't want a peninsula. Well, that's interesting looking, but I don't want that. And this comes back down here. We have a kind of dish shape. Oh, hey, wait. Is this even better? Yeah, there we go. So that, and then we're back to, on this side, what do I want to do? I don't want to get back to this sort of shape. And I need maybe this. There you go. That'll allow me to have straight ones from there on. And then let's have this be a little bit more. See, that's green ground. I want forest. I guess maybe this forest. It's a bit too much. I think I want like sandier forest. What do they have for sandier terrain? That's river terrain. That's got the path on it. I guess I just want more sparsely populated forest. The animations are cool. Yeah, I don't actually like the way that looks. I wish you could go with a subset of the trees. Now there was a way to. Oh, that wasn't what I wanted to do. Undo. I think it was. Could make this a random one again. No, not eyedropper. Selection tool. Make this a random. Rotate, move. Thought there was a way to re-random it. Oh, I guess you just click it with this. Yeah, I just click it with that. Yeah, I like that a little bit better. That looks better. You get a different random selection. No, I don't want that one. Too dense. Yeah, that's all right. I think I can deal with that. All right, so that's that. Now, this, the Bravo 2, which is also totally not relating to a classic adventure. What's this site and building? I don't even know what these are. Oh, that's all cool. Oh, right. That was another thing I wanted. Oh, those, you can embiggen it. I like embiggening it. That way I can see it. Bravo 1. I'm not happy with that selection because it's supposed to look more like a house. So what do we have here under site and building? This looks like a camp. Yeah, none of those quite fit. This has a bunch of camp stuff. That's cool. I like the boulder valleys. There's some neat boulder valleys in there. We're gonna use those in a different thing. Country. I want like houses. I wonder if we've got. If I can pull something. City road, city wall, generic city wall. Yeah, no, that's not useful. I may need to insert a ruins structures. I may need to insert something here. Oh, there we go. There's mines. That's going to be useful. Watchtowers, auto object, fossils, graveyard, props, residential. That's what I want. Watermill, windmill, city house, tower house, stone tower, town hall, few different town halls. All right, so we're going to do this. What happens if I put that there? It just gets plunked in. All right, cool. I think I can work with that. So I'm going to put green ground here with a house. Do I have a better option? Something like this. I like the fact that the house stays. You see, the house is still there. So I could grab something like this. Oh, but now it's gone. I guess it only works with auto tiles. I can still plunk the house back. That's it. Ta-da! So now, if I can get back to zoomy outie, I can take this and I put a structure on it, which I'm making everybody motion sick. See, there we go. There's a structure. So let's see what else we can find here. Corners. I'm just looking at all the different things. Got all kinds of creepy stuff. Stone tower, thatched cottage, town hall, townhouse, town tower house, two tower house. There's some cool looking houses in here. Like I'm gonna love when they have more models, but they did a good job on these models. They're really cool looking. Let's see what else we can do that might be better for this application. There's a mountain. That's too big of a mountain. I may go with that. I think this may be a case of the perfect is the enemy of the good, and I want to adjust this slightly because, yeah, I think that looks better. So you can look out across the ocean. Well, maybe we want to rotate it back. Nope. There. Now the road comes in. Yeah, you're coming on the back of the house. But so what? And that matches relatively well. All right, next. I'm fine with this country road. This is too big. This Bravo 2. I like the fact that it's got a little castle wall there, but it's too big. So let's grab this and we're going to do this in the right order. We are going to get rid of, there's a way to edit. Right. So I want to select this and hit this and then remove selected. So now Bravo 2 should still be there. Nope, it's not. So apparently if you remove all entities from it, it completely goes away. All right. That can't say that really surprises me. It makes logical sense, but it does make sense. All right. Select all this, delete. And now the issue here is that I have come up with a map scale in my head that does not match the map scale that they modeled these to be. So what I want is a one hex with a city castle arrangement in the middle of it. And I don't know that I'm going to get that. There's some city filler, but none of these have walls, right? And then there's these roads, but all of these walls are not designed to have there be a single wall. And looking at the individual objects, I see ruins and residential and structures, but I don't see a way to put the city wall. Oh, there's a bunch of vegetation. That's nice. I like the vegetation. But I'm not seeing a tower or even some walls that I could do, right? I could build a two tower house, type thing. I can plunk that in there, but that doesn't give me really what I'm looking for. So I think what I'm going to do is split the difference in that I'm going to make a very small city wall, and I think it's weird it doesn't connect. I want this. Where's that piece? I'm going to have to custom make this here. Yeah. So I want this piece here because that's where it would be, right? Because you've got the road coming in, and then you can do. Oh, that's not sharp enough. I need two adjacent corners at the point, like this one. Plunk, plunk. And then I can do, I don't want another gate here. Oh wait, there's one with a road going through. Look at that. Oh, except it's backwards. See? It's the green is on the wrong side. And I don't know that you can mirror it. Too bad, though. That's a cool model. And that puts the green on the wrong side. And that's the one that was there. I guess we're just going to use that. Because that has a road with the green on the wrong side. Another road with the green on the wrong side. Another road with the green on the side. That's great. Because it puts the city on the outside. See, all the structures and all that. Now there's a town over there, so it doesn't look super weird. It'd be great if there was ability to mirror it. But I see duplicate and rotate, but there's no way to mirror it. Oh, and this has the same thing. This puts the city on the outside. Why would you have your pavement on the outside, but your why would you have your pavement on the outside of your wall? See, this one over here makes sense, right? Because you've got, oh, but those are not the, okay, now I'm really confused. These are not the same. Wait, where's that one? That's not this one. There must be some that I'm missing here. This one. And it's got a road. There. Perfect. Look at that. Great. We got a road that goes up to our city. Neat. That's actually even a slightly different one than back there. All right. And now I've got to get this one. Now we're cooking with gas. I need to zoom out. I zoomed in so I could see it. All right. Selection. Rotate. This one. Go this way. Boom. Yeah. And then pick this. Drop it over here. Great. And I don't know. We could actually just pick this one and have it go through. That would be an interesting idea, that there's an option on both sides. What else do we have? What's this one? That is another 2-tower one. I think I like that one better. There. So now we have, the scale on this is going to be completely wrong in that it's way too big for what we're doing, because there's no way that a certain keep would be that large. But that said, looks good on the map, so we're going to run with it. Now, the other thing that we need to do is, next to this keep, there are some caves. So for some reason, it's under man-made, but it's the boulder valleys. So we're going to auto-generate some boulder valleys around here. Why not? I don't want that one. There we go. Now, I could throw in some like mine entrances, because there's supposed to be some caves there. And, I think this is one too many. I think I'm just going to go with 2. I'm going to delete this. All right. And so now we need to redo our selection. This, add POI Bravo 2, this color, great. And got Bravo 2, Bravo 1, great. And now these are, I want to grab these 2. And we're going to add caves of chaos. Now that is part of the Bravo 2 adventure. Now I'm going to come back in and change those scrolls at some point. It's one of the nice things about doing this digitally, in that I can come in and do it, undo it, redo it, whatever, later. Now, The other thing I want to do is this road needs to lead to another spot. And there's a reason for this, which is the third adventure I have roughly planned. So I need a fork in the road like this, which makes perfect sense because it's going to go to the caves, right? So this fork in the road takes you to these caves. But then there's another bit of the road that goes this way. Yeah, all right. And I'm not sure where one of these goes because it goes off the map, and that's okay. And one of the things that you need to do is essentially overdraw this because otherwise it's going to end, right? Like this one here ends. So I'm going to just grab this last bit and repeat it here. So now that goes off the map. Now my intention is fully that this one here goes somewhere else. So I'm going to delete this. And now I need to make a secret hidden region. And this is where we get into the visibility stuff. Is how can I weather? There's atmospheric fog. You can set the weather. Oh, and you can set the fog density, but you don't seem to be able to do it by region. This weather system, the light intensity, the colors, the sky presets, all of this, it's all very cool, but doesn't allow me to draw a, oh, look at this. It even tells me the grid size now. Look at that. It does not, oh, okay, adding that, very clever, like that. View box. All right. Add new preset. I don't know what the different preset is. I don't know how to use that, but we'll get there. Anyway, long story short, we need to throw a couple more random things in here. So we're going to throw forest in there. All right, I like that. That's good. Those are just the mountains. Those are actually the Caves of Chaos. I just added the mountains because they're interesting. But here's the deal, is I need a mysterious area surrounded by fog that this road leads to. So the way I'm going to do that is I am going to find something random, maybe just the ground, just the ground. And I'm going to just draw this so it is random ground. Boom, 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 boom. And it doesn't, there's nothing really on the map here, but because I don't want to give anything away to my players. And this is essentially going to be a sub map because this is where it lives on the larger map, but the module has its own maps. Kind of like there's a separate map for the interior of this Bravo 1. There's maps for the Bravo 2 and the Caves of Chaos. This is going to be a region. Add creepy fog. So this is literally just a region of creepy fog because there's a creepy fog wall that goes there. That's it. All right, so we've got that. We've got that. I don't know. I kind of feel like there should be a mountain here. How does that fit? Yeah, that's cool. We're going to stick a mountain there. I like that mountain there. We're going to throw a forest here. Yeah, I suppose that is. I was like, oh, there you go. I was like, that's a very random small forest. Yeah, it is. They really do need a grassland sort of arrangement. That's not just this green ground. I mean, I suppose that does give you some plains, but I was kind of looking for something that was a little bit more random. Okay, so we don't want to do a coastal. We could add more coastal over here, I think. I think we're going to just go forest. We'll go with forest next. And this is a broad fill-in of all of this stuff. And this is where I kind of feel like this really shines. Because, yeah, okay, look, it's a bunch of cool stuff that bang, bang. I feel like we need another mountain. So let's auto tile. Oh, I can't auto tile in a mountain. It's just individual tiles. So I guess I use that one. I guess I use that one here. We'll stick another set of mountains here. Why not? And we have a. Is there another? Did I miss another road? No, that road just goes around in that circle. Okay, that's fine. I feel like we need this to actually fork and have another road go up over here because we could put something over here. Another point of interest later. Because again, I can export this, and most of this is going to be fog of ward, right? In that the players are not going to be able to see the entire map unless they've watched this video. But that also gives me some options as a GM as to how to do this nicely later. That would work off back that way. That's not what I want. There we go. This is good. So this now, you come to a fork in the road, it does that. Let's go back to the auto forest path, and it runs this way. And you know what? I'm going to do this. I'm going to hide a city back here. So this becomes a country path. So it goes like this. And there's a town back here on the far side of this mountain. And I don't know what that's actually going to be. We might as well, we could even do this. And throw a city wall in the shadow of that mountain. And I feel like I want this one. Yeah, it's not good. It was better. So we need the road to come in. Let's take these mountains. Move the no, come on, mountains. I want you to go this way. Move the mountains that way. And then we can redraw this a little bit better. We're going to make a big city here. And then that way we'll have something on our map for a nice city adventure. These somewhat seem like contrary concepts to me because I do not. There's that. Now I want a generic city wall. And we're going to do this. So the city wall will go like this. Boom, boom, boom. Now I need them to connect to this road here. So I need a road tile, country path, and I need it to not be a terminus. It needs to be country path through, like that one. And then we already found the city where there was a nice, cool entry point into. No, that's the wrong way around. This one. Nice entry point into here. Looks like I'm going to have to delete this guy and have it delete. And then this is going to have to be a Zaner. We've got some points there. Would this be a road out? We should make this a road out. We should make this another one of these because now there's a road headed out that they could use to maybe go onto another map or I just extend it. And what have we got here? I need another corner, like maybe this one. Oh, but there's a road there. I don't want a road. How about that one? There we go. And then we can do city filler or a city with a road through it. Boom. So there's a road through this walled city. I like it. It's very symmetrical. Makes me happy. All right. So now, bulk fill, we need more forest. We'll just do this as honor for forest for some visual difference. Bang, forest. And we need some more forest in here. We're going to paint that. Going to paint this all around here. There we go. And I don't know, I kind of feel like I want to cut the I want to cut the water this way and maybe stick an island out here. So let's do that. Let's do coastline and see what auto coastal does. What if I just click this? Oh, that's right. Auto coastal doesn't work because it's tricky to do, right? Oh, okay. So I want an angled one. An angled one that goes this way. There we go. And then I can kind of run this way. There's a couple of different variations of these. And let's hook. I don't want ones with hook that way a little bit. And oh, I see. We need like this one here. I think. And then you can actually use that same one again to, you know what, I don't need to look at that. Nope, not that one. Grab this one. Oh, but that doesn't actually solve that problem. That just moves it. How about this one? There we go. Look at that. Comes back down. And then we should be able to use this one again. Yeah, makes an interesting peninsula looking thing there. I like it. Oh, here, and then we've got this one. This was actually the wedge shape that I was looking at before. Yeah, and this, so you kind of end up with a little bit of a bay there. I can do this, and then I can stick this one here. Not that one, this one. There we go. So there's a few. See, I've used the tiles, and it looks a little. It adds some nice variation. I think there. Oh no, there. There we go. So that solves that whole arrangement. And then I'm going to play a little bit of the game here where I'm going to use the ocean and I'm going to just let it do the whole ocean lake water thing. And whatever islands get dropped there, get dropped there. All right, so we've got a couple of islands that are out there that we could go to. And if we're going to do that, let's go back over here to this country road. All I can think of is the John Denver Fallout 76 country roads take me home. And now we've got another road that'll go over this way around the castle here, right? But they'd notice it in that they would go by it and then have to cut back. And in fact, you know what? We're just assume that they're going to do that. So it's not the one that I want. There, right? There one here? No, that will not work. This one. Yeah, this will want to work. Okay, so now if we do this, and then we'll put a straight road here, and then we're going to have this road come in. And basically, it makes a triangle, right? And the idea here is that there's a town with some, it's not a town, it's scattered houses. So there's scattered houses. Oh, you know what? I'm dumb. We should do a farm so they can go over farmland, right? Isn't that the type of thing that you would have? Wouldn't you, if you have a place that is inhabited by people, you would need farmland. So let's adjust that slightly and do this. That would need to go there, but I don't want it to. I want this. Okay, so it can't go through the mountain. Can't have that. I'm going to get rid of this. I'm going to get rid of this. And I'm going to change this to be a city road, a country path road, and I need it to go oddly specific. That is not it. It's almost it. I can make that work though. So this, I have a better one. There's 5 out. I need one. See, I need it to come in from the top, right? And then I need it to only go out on a few sides. But I could also just move stuff. I think I'm move stuff. That one worked perfectly as long as I move this road. So now I take this, select this, no, select this. How can I move it? Oh, I bet I can't move it because it's registering that as a click. Okay, so now it's there, and now it needs to get rotated. That is so, and the reason people don't live that close to there is because they don't trust those caves. So we'll call that that. But I need the forest path now because I need to find one that splits the correct way. That's the one that I'm using. It does not split the correct way. This, we need to be able to get to the path. Oh, you know what? I don't need it to split. I just need it to hook. Okay, so now that hooks around to here. This one needs to split the right way in order to be able to get us to the paths. That's still a straight road. We need to get to the mountains and we need to be able to get to the other. You know what? Why would there be a road going to the caves? I'm just going to say this is silly. There wouldn't be a road going to the caves. Nobody wants to go to the caves. There. So it goes like this. And we're going to throw man-made. Oh, there's some nice city stuff there. Farmland. Okay. So I want farmland there. That's as close as people want to get. Great. And you know what? We're also going to, we've got the farm. We're going to draw some farmland over here. They can go by farms, like as in they can go past farms, not as in they can purchase farms. And we're going to make this another country path that goes this way. And then it becomes a forest path that goes and runs off the edge. And then we're going to have, logically, we're going to need, it's not a big city. So that's probably enough farmland. And they've got room to expand. So we're going to paint all these with forest. And we'll give some different types of trees here. And another type of trees here. All right, so from the top, here's our map, right? I want to rotate this like so. I don't know, can I get a flat look like that? Yeah. So I want to rotate it so that this side is north. And I don't know how to do that and keep it flat. All right, I guess it's flat like this. There we go. So this is what the players will see. I mean, except they won't, because what's going to really happen is they're going to start with this down here, and that they really only know about this C-17 landing site and that point of interest. And I need to tilt it a little bit because of how they did the reflections. But I like this. All right, so we save it. Save. Very good. Thank you. And of course, it gets enormous again. Go back to windowed. Save. You may wonder why I'm doing it windowed. It's so that I can see the recorder in the other part of the screen. All right, so I can print it. I can capture it. Oh, I like it. So I can hit F, which saves it. Let me flip the screen slightly. So this is just a simple image viewer. And it's showing the regions, but it's not showing the labels, which is unfortunate. So we're going to go back to Master of Realms. So that's a bug, right? Fair to say. All right, so there's an issue with that. You can also record it, which is kind of interesting because I could record a live map. So exporting it seems to be an issue for VTT purposes because this point of interest is not being shown. And it should be being shown. You know, you see the show hide, so it shows up versus it doesn't. I could also obviously get a bigger one. I don't see a dedicated export, right? There's a save and all that, but there's no dedicated export for VTT. But anyway, we're going to save that. And I want to exit to homepage. And I want to load this map. And I want to see how the printing goes. Oh, 2D print, 3D print. I like that. 2D print. Page size, US letter. Oh, there's a print as type. I don't know what VTT is. I want to print these 1 pages. Letter, 300 DPI, hex map. Great. JPEG versus PNG doesn't matter because it's going to be sent to the printer, but it doesn't look like it's going to be sent to the printer directly. So it saves the file and exported. Great. And then if I were to do this, go back to the home page, save and exit, miniatures, oh no, RPG map, print, 2D print, 300, and it chops it up into 6 of 6 pages. That's what it's got to be. I bet VTT exports it as one huge image, whereas this is going to pull it as a series of pages that are mostly empty. I'm not sure why they're mostly empty. Maybe it's too big because that's a chunk of it, and that's a chunk of it, and that's it. It's almost like when I shrunk it, it did not recalculate properly, which would not surprise me. But if we go into the grid settings, this says it's 15 by 19. So at some point it updated, but at other points it didn't. So I have to say I'm actually quite happy with this software. As goofy as it sounds, you know, you might have seen me struggle a little bit here. I'm not dissatisfied in any way because perhaps I'm a little less sensitive to software being in development because I worked in software engineering and product development and firmware and things like that for 25 years. So I'm used to getting early betas of stuff. And the fact that this works this well and does not crash is a credit to the dev team. Yes, there's a bunch of stuff that could stand some polish, and some of it is going to just probably implicitly get resolved by having a native Linux build, which they have on their roadmap of things to do. And I hope to be able to get it soon. When going to print, it actually just exports a PNG, JPEG. You saw that. I'm going to need to open it up and actually send it to the printer, which I'm not going to do right now. Actually, why not? Print, 2D print. letter, JPEG, all good, export. So the exports are going on the desktop and the prints go in app data local Master of Realms save. So if I open it up, this is what it looks like for 2D printing. It draws the shadows, which maybe I need to adjust the lighting effects a little bit because it kind of looks like a funny time of day. But we see our French farm. We see the underground access that we got. I can plot moves on this quite well. So I think that's actually just fine. Anyway, back to what I was saying. It exported it. It could use a little bit of polish on that regard, but I think they know that. I'm looking forward to the full resolution VTT export. But until then, it's perfectly workable, as in I can capture sections of the map and I could even record them. And I need to see what my VTT software actually allows for background animations, right? I've been using Playroll, but I've been using Owlbear Rodeo for maps. So if this exports in some sort of animated format that we can make work, I can have a cool animated map that they could move stuff around. I don't know how well that all will work, but I'll have to play with it and try it. But the point of this was to make maps, and I think that this shows a lot of promise. Master of Realms here. I'm looking forward to seeing how they improve it going forward, and I have to say that this is the most productive I have been in making a map that looked especially this good ever. I've tried a few different pieces of software, web-based ones and all of that, and they functioned okay, but this is really nice. I'm not going to use it for my Fallout game because that would kind of break immersion. It would work for the Fallout game, but I want it to look like a Pip-Boy. And so I found a way to do that using Google Maps, and then you pull it into something like GIMP or Photoshop and add more place markers. I will do a separate video on that. That all said, thank you all for being with me today, and I will be back with a recommendation later. Hello, friends. It's time for recommendations. So, because this is a mix of fantasy and World War II, because that's what we're doing with our Forgotten Ruin miniatures game, I struggled with this for a little bit, and then I was looking through my bookshelves, and I found these. This is Hard Magic, which is book 1 of the Grim Noir Chronicles. This is Spellbound, which is book 2 of the Grim Noir Chronicles. And this is Warbound, book 3 of the Grim Noir Chronicles. The Grim Noir Chronicle series actually has a few more books than this. I have not read any of these others, this Detroit Christmas, Cosmic Christmas. I've only read the books 1, 2, and 3, and I haven't read the 3.5 and the 3.6. I think those are novellas. I'm not certain. The core trilogy was really, really good. And the reason it's appropriate here is because it's an alternate history series. It starts in World War I and posits that special forces which had magical abilities were used. So this is where you get into the fantasy. And there's also fantasy creatures, werewolves, vampires, zombies, etc. So you get tales of World War I Prussian zombies fighting, which kind of makes you feel a little bit like Sucker Punch, because there was a World War II German Nazis vignette in there. Take that background and then fast forward to the 1930s, where the World War I ended up differently. So World War II never happened. There were certain Austrian painters who never were able to get a foothold in things. And I think they made an oblique reference to that in book 1. But now we have secret organizations that deal with magic and people who fight monsters. And the author's other series is called Monster Hunter International, which is set in modern times and will be a recommendation for later, not right now, and is about essentially private military contractors or bounty hunters who fight monsters and get bounties from the government on those monsters. I'll read the back of the first one, Hard Magic, which hopefully will sell you on the concept. Jake Sullivan is a war hero, a private eye, and an ex-con. He's free because he has a magical talent, and the feds need his help in apprehending criminals with their own magical abilities. But the last operation Jake was sent on went completely wrong, and Delilah Jones, an old friend in happier times, had too much magical muscle with her for the feds to handle, even with Jake's help. It got worse. Jake found out that not only have the feds been lying to him, but there was a secret war being waged by opposing forces of magic users. Worse still, he had attracted the attention of one side's ruthless leaders, who were of the opinion that Jake was far too dangerous to be permitted to live. So, it feels like a Sam Spade hard-boiled detective novel, but with magic, and much gunplay, and action, and adventure, and there's, in the later ones, you end up with, things like airships, and the Empire of Japan is quite powerful, as they were before World War II. Germany was never so totally defeated in World War I. There was an armistice, but there was not the stage for the World War II rebuilding of Germany because they never were destroyed. So they continued as an empire, as a major European power, and the world marched on from there. This is generally focused on the United States, but there's some international intrigue as well. And as I said, I really enjoyed it, and I thought that it was pertinent for this because we're mixing both modern fantasy and World War II fantasy in this episode because we're doing maps for both. So again, recommendation for this week is The Grim Noir Chronicles by Larry Correia. And thank you all for watching, and as always, stay nerdy.